Alright. So that is that. I think we're all good to go. Alright, so last time we were building a giant rocket fuel factory. I'm going to set take from inventory off so that it uses the dimensional storage first and not the stuff I've put in my inventory. I put just like a couple stacks of the things I was running out of. To recap here, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 per row. So that's 12, 24, 36. And this will be 48, and then the next row will be 60, which will be more than enough. So let's get these manifolds in. And line it up. And line them up. Alright, that's the line there. That's the line there. Alright. So that is in. Now we just have to hook it all up, including to the power. Alright, so now it is all hooked up to power, and I need to put the power shards in. And speaking of power shards, once I finish this set, I'm going to need to head out because the power shard factory was one of the ones that was broken by the what's it called, the drone crisis yesterday, so I'm gonna have to head out and fix that. Speaking of drones, this is almost full, which means that all of the rocket fuel being diverted to this will soon be off into the world again. And also, let's get a platform set up, because I have finally done it. I've done the thing I've been meaning to do for ages. I've Googled how to make a hypertube cannon. So, we get the supports. We put them in. I don't remember what the distance was supposed to be. But hopefully this works. That's another one for good measure. Alright, and then we add the entrances on to every other. And then we hook the tubes up like that. And then we take the last one and we bring it like a little bit up, and right, I think I was supposed to be using Noodle for this the entire time, so we'll have to see if that breaks it. For now, let's just see if this works at all. It'd be very cool if it did. Alright. Jetpack equipped. And yeah, that certainly seems to work. Yeah, we are zooming now. Gosh, we are really moving quick, huh? So this is the specific destination we are intending to head for. Okay. Can you swap back and forth like that? No, you can't. Alright. Well, that got us quite a good bit of distance. Not quite far enough, but we can just add a couple more entrances on. Alright. That was quite successful. So now we can just walk the rest of the way. And up we go. Yeah, that was much faster than walking manually, that's for sure. So the recommendation was to set up a blueprint for it, which seems like a good idea to me. Alright, so you need fuel. You get fuel. And you get fuel just in case. So now that's headed off. This will turn on. And this was doing the SAM stuff and the Fixite. So Fixite was always working because it was just using local materials. The SAM stuff was bringing resources in, specifically iron. Alright, so that is that fixed. Now we need to keep on going. And yeah, I think let's just real quick have a blueprint for this, because being able to just plop those down basically wherever will be very nice. So Blueprint Designer Mark II, still not wide enough. Let's give it a bit more space. Alright, we got it. So it is support, support, yeah, let's go like that. I don't know, something like that ought to be more than good enough. Now we plop the entrances in every other one. And we attach the hypertubes. And finally, we take the output and we angle it up a little bit. Now we need a power pole, probably back by the first entrance, and hook it up to everything. Is it hooked up to all of them? Yes. Alright, so now we have that. We can run over here, call this Hypertube Cannon, save blueprint, clear the designer, delete the designer. Now we just have to put the cannon up. How about there? Then we need to get power, activate the cannon, and where are we heading? Yeah, basically this way. Yeah, alright, that was a bit of a launch. Did we overshoot? Not entirely sure where the target was. And this is where having so many of these drone ports all over the place kind of sucks. Alright, we didn't overshoot. Felt like we went a lot further than we did. Still got a lot of distance very quickly. We keep on heading. There's a belt line for iron. Ah, and here it is. So this needs to be fixed. And I have a huge amount of junk in my inventory now. So much random stuff. Gone. So let's grab packaged fuel. Hang on. I can't help but notice that my packaged fuel supply is not increasing. I think that is probably nothing to worry about. I'm pretty sure that it's just a smart splitter is prioritizing sending everything to the whatchamacallit. It's prioritizing sending everything to the drone system, which means the dimensional storage isn't getting priority. But hopefully that problem won't last forever because the fuel stop is full. I better go and check it out. I'm gonna head back to the space elevator and set up a hypertube cannon there because that's obviously one of the primary locations. Alright. We can head over to the space elevator where we will put basically our main hypertube cannon, which will be transporting us probably the one we'll use the most, because it is more central. Alright, here we are. And of course it is just going to point due south. Hypertube cannon. Boom. And power it on. Alright, we are off. So we want to head southwest, because this is the direction of the fuel system. And just lightly tap the jetpack every so often to preserve altitude, while also keeping horizontal momentum. Alright. We didn't quite make it all the way, but we did make it all the way to Immerser Sphere. Yep. Alright. There's an adult hog there, which I was not expecting. Alright, where did that hog even go? Did it just fall off a cliff? Or was it hiding down there? Okay, I think this is probably safe. Alright. Immersive Sphere has been grabbed. The hog was unable to hit me from that angle. Fantastic. Now we can just drop down the rest of the way. I think that hypertube cannon at the main base, I think it's probably just going to need to be longer to get me more of the distance, because that is not quite enough. Alright, so if I remember correctly, there was a messed up drone here. But yeah, something is up with fuel. Let's head on over and see what's going on. It's of course all being fed from this. And... Huh? What? Excuse me? Oh boy, that's fun. Hello? What on earth happened there? So the belt wasn't working for some reason? I'm pretty sure that belt had worked in the past. So I'm not sure what that was all about. But the important thing is, now we have that. It may have been broken at some point in the past, but now it is functional. And filling up pretty quickly. So now we can head back to turn on the supercomputer factory. Let's turn on the supercomputer factory. So we head over here. We grab some fuel, throw it in, and it's on. Alright, so now we have to figure out all of the things that could be broken and whether or not they're broken. So the supercomputers, I just checked. Gas masks are fine, of course, because I hardly ever use them. Canisters, I'm pretty sure I fixed. Yep. Crude oil source is a source. Alright, that all looks good. The nitrogen seems functional. Fused frame. They should all be cannot unload. That's correct. Cooling system. I was right there. Turbo motors are all good to go. Elevator stuff I don't care about. Cable source. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Sam iron supplier is good. Power shower to oil source is good. Rocket fuel canister supplier is good. Alright. I think we have solved the problem. I'm going to hide those on the compass, just to make it slightly less cluttered. Also hide trains and train stations. Alright. So that's all sorted. Now we pop down a hypertube cannon to take us southeast. Alright. We need some land for it to be on first. Hypertube cannon. Kaboom. And power it on. How much power are all these cannons taking? Negligible. Cool. Alright, and off we go. It's roughly this way. Probably following along this line of... Alright. And we parachute the rest of the way down. Switch back to jetpack. And now we have to figure out exactly where we ended up, which is like halfway. So we just have to keep on heading. Yep, I can see it in the distance. It's right there. Alright. So the drone crisis has been averted. By averted, I mean solved. Now we can go back to just placing down rocket fuel Placing down rocket fuel towers. And we should have synthetic power shards coming in now that the oil supply has been reinstalled. And let's take a zip line. It's a bit more convenient than manually flying the entire way. So there are no zip lines heading quite correctly here. Alright. Now we pop on over. And we see a whole lot of blue. Alright, so these are rows of 12, which is 12, 24, 36, 48. Each one uses 10.42 a minute. 600 divided by 10.42 is 57. So the next row of 12 will overdo it slightly. That's fine, we can just fix that. Let's place the foundations down. Foundations being placed. And the next row of 12 will have our first of like 5 pipes of rocket fuel. And then we'll be able to move on to the next pipe of rocket fuel. Alright. Blueprints. Fuel generator manifold. That's lined up. And that's lined up. And that's lined up. And that's lined up. Alright. I seem to have messed up. It's going to be slightly out of whack. But what can you do? There's something as complicated as this. It's going to be very difficult for it to be perfect. Let's bring that back out there. And then in. Technically, pipeline Mark 1s are probably fine by this point, but don't want to cause any problems, so we're just going to make it Mark 2s all the way down. Alright, pipes are attached. The power is going to be hooked up shortly. And power is attached. Now we need to grab the power shards for this line and just make sure that the settings are being saved. Actually, did I blueprint? No. I should put the power shards just in the blueprint, but this isn't that bad, really. Alright. so that is 60. We need, what, 57.5? So 59, 58. So this one is set to like 58%. Or, hang on. This could be really complicated, actually. 58.1%. So 625 times 58.1. Oh, it's 0.625. No, it's times 0.581 is 363.125. So this is set to 363.2 because that was all rounding. Please. All right. So this should, in theory, be exactly the correct number of generators for that pipe. And now that we have that, we can actually confirm at least some of these steps, whether they are working at 100%. Previously they weren't being drawn upon at 100%. Now they are. So now any problems are actually problems. Alright. That looks good. That looks good. This one is yellow because of output problems. Alright, so those output problems and those output problems should go away now that we are actually using all of it. And alright, so that is one pipe of turbo fuel. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, but this last one is smaller, I think. But not much smaller. Gosh, this is such ridiculous scale that I'm building at here. And capacity is all wacky right now. Somewhat to be expected. It is manifolding. And that's just like unavoidable. So that one is full. This one is filling. Yeah, so the fuel, if I check, well, flow rate at that point is going to be super low. So if I head back all the way to the front of the line, we should see an even 600 here. We see 501. Right around 500. Which doesn't make any sense. So the good news is that confirms there are no Mark I pipes in the line messing things up. The bad news is that that shouldn't be the case. Like, surely the fact that there's empty space, are the machines not producing at full speed? 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 60%, but rising. That's just straight up 30%. But why? There should be more than enough room. Yeah, this is still stuck down at 500-ish. Why is it at 500 or 4 or 500? Okay, well, something I do kind of want to do is just for... I think it would be nice to mess with... to make the manifolding probably a little bit quicker if we have these things go on both sides. Because this shouldn't cause any problems. It should just mean that like there's closer, more direct access to the front, so now that the ones in the middle will be the ones not being fed. And then I guess while we're doing that, we can also set it up on this side, which it already was most of the way, but now is all of the way. Alright, now flow rate is up to 600 for now at least. So I don't know what that is about. Now it is down to 560 and dropping. Why is flow rate dropping? There shouldn't be problems like that. Yeah, this is down to 53%. I do not understand what is going on here. So this pipe is only flowing at 500 meters cubed a minute, despite the fact that it could easily flow faster than that. Okay, what if I make all of these pipes Mark II? That shouldn't matter. It should do nothing. But I suppose it is possible it might do something. Ah. Right, I had that selected. So let's open some inventory slots. Get some random junk out. Don't really need that concrete. Those hatcher remains. The joys of Satisfactory. Inventory is always clogging up with random stuff. So now I have a slot for these. I can pick them up. Alright. A couple more dismantle crates. Where are you? Way over here on these generators that I dismantled. Alright. So that's that. Okay, now this entire row... I'm so confused by what is going on here. Like, how could it be that simultaneously the generators aren't getting enough fuel and the blenders don't have enough room for output and the pipes aren't running at max capacity? Like, none of those things make sense in the same world. Maybe when in doubt, stick a fluid buffer. What's that be? Organization. Alright, fluid buffer added. What would this do? I don't know. It, in theory, shouldn't do anything. So these will in theory, at least these should start running at 100% temporarily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 of them, feeding into a 600 speed pipe. So it should work. Now that flow rate is even lower, because this is receiving all the rocket fuel. Please make it make sense. Yep, you are still being restricted. I don't understand. So this pipe is only flowing at like 400 when it could easily flow faster than that. Genuinely, why? So the fluid buffer is fluid buffering. It's taking like half of it, but still only like 500 is being used. Which makes no sense. If I look up here at the machines, I can clearly see that many of these middle ones are sitting here completely useless. This is running at 11%. There's so much room for the fluids to be... There's so much room for fluids to be sent through the pipes. And yet they are not. Alright, so this is still getting half of it, and it's still 200-ish. I'm going to Google it and see. Satisfactory rocket fuel not flowing at 600. Alright. Try shutting off all the generators and letting the pipes saturate fully with rocket fuel before turning them back on. Alright. Well. Let's turn off some generators then. Let's copy. Alright, apparently you can't copy paste turning it off. That's off. So that's an entire row turned off. So apparently it's fluid dynamic fun. And apparently if I turn all of these off, let the pipes fill completely, then it should work. So we're just going to turn like 2 rows off. That should be enough, right? I mean, that's still going to be like several hundred rocket fuel excess being produced. And the pipes should be able to saturate now. I don't think this fluid buffer is helpful. I'm going to remove it. So now the flow rate should go up. It's at 430, 440. It is increasing. Will it increase all the way up to 600? Or at least saturate fully. I mean, these bottom pipes are certainly fully saturated. I will turn off another row of generators because these are also struggling to be filled. I do not understand why fluid has to be so finicky all the time. Okay, now surely the pipes will fill. Not even close to full. I think just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to revert this so that it is purely a single manifold line. Just because that makes sense to me. So now it goes down that way, around this way, up this way, around there. Now this is one single giant manifold. Everything is working completely linearly with no funny business. Are these pipes filling? Not especially. Please. Alright, let's head and look at this pipe. It's at 30 out of 38. But it doesn't seem... I guess it's filling very slowly. Should I turn off? I think I must have to just turn off the entire thing to let the pipes properly fill. It's so frustrating having to deal with this fluid weirdness. Alright, now only the first row is using any fuel. The rest of the entire thing is just sitting there. And my poor production and capacity have tanked because of that. Alright, so this is the last one that is actively running, and it is full. So these pipes should just be filling other pipes. And the whole thing should start to work. But these pipes don't seem to be filling. What about these last pipes all the way at the end? They aren't even receiving any rocket fuel? Where is it going? This makes no sense. There is 350 flow rate a minute here. And it seems to be going literally nowhere. Like, is it literally just vanishing? The flow rate here is 9 a minute. Alright, apparently these pipes just hold a lot and take a long time to fill. And so this row is using like roughly 120. So we should have more than enough production that even with the hilariously low flow rates, it should fill up pretty easily. And yet it's like impossible to see any movement on any pipes filling up. Zero flow rate a minute there. Zero flow rate a minute there. Is there like a problem where they aren't connecting properly or something? We're as high as 300 just here. And here we have 300. Are these machines still on? No. That's 300. That's 100. That's 76. Ah, I see. Production is paused, but the machines are filling. So that is something that fluids do that belts that non-fluid machines don't. So we have to wait for all of these machines to fill one at a time. Effectively one at a time. Technically the rest of them are getting some, but not much. And then once all of these machines are full, then all of the pipes will begin to fill. And then the flow rate will be able to reach the maximum. And then we can turn it on. This system is so convoluted. Alright. Obviously, it's like exponential, so each one is getting half of the one next to it. They are still all filling up, slowly but surely. Even this one is... yeah, they are filling up. It won't be too long until it's all sorted. So this one is still down at 25. But it is rising. 8, 9, 50. Alright, let's look at this one because it will be moving slowly, but accelerating every time another one gets filled. And soon all of these will be done. We just have to sit here and do nothing while we wait for rocket fuel production. Alright, so now we know that these really need to be full at all times, which means I think I'm going to round down the last generator. I'm going to take another couple off of it. So yeah, this is using 6.5. Let's set this to like 350 megawatts. Just to make sure there is at least some tiny amount of slack in the system. And now the pipes all fill. Which will be filling, I guess, back to front. No, it's all sloshing around and being confusing, which means it's not going to fill in any particular order. But we do have to wait for all of the pipes to fill, because of course we do. And there are a lot of pipes. This is also going to take a while, and it is also much harder to tell how much it's working. So I guess we can fly down here to where it's all starting, and it seems like all the pipes are filling roughly simultaneously, so once this pipe is filled, they should probably all be full. Alright. Let's hit 38.4. I don't trust it because there's still flow happening. I'm going to... Yeah, because these are not all full. The joys of dealing with fluids. Alright, well, this is fun. I think if I turn these front machines off, like, I might actually have a power problem. So I don't want to do that. Just have to wait for all of these to finish. Yeah, so this one is full and its flow rate is maxed. At least most of the time, except for when it empties momentarily. So now, are these machines running better? That's 22. Yeah, now that these are actually, like, overproducing by a significant amount. I can't believe you just have to sit here and wait. Like, that's just comedy. I guess while we're sitting here and waiting, I will make a blueprint machine. And really, I need one more. And there you go. And I will update my fuel generator manifold. So first of all, they're set to off. And second of all, they have power showers in them. So we overwrite that. Alright, so that is at least something mildly productive that we've done while waiting for this. It does look like the filling operation is mostly working. Go all the way to the back. These ones are also still mostly full. Yep. We're still, looks like we're still working on it here near the ends. Seems very close, at least. Alright. Well, I think we should be, if not completely good to go, at least very close. Yeah, so now the flow rate is dropped to be around what the machines are using, which means we should be good to turn it on. I'm just going to give it a little bit more time just to be sure. But I think I'm going to start booting up the machines again. And it should work. It should, in theory, work. Alright, let's turn them on. And see if it does indeed power production is certainly skyrocketing. Question is, will it remain stable, or it'll be stuck doing, or will the manifolds empty? That's the question. It is good to see the line go up. It is very good. Alright. And keep going. And we should be producing 600 and using slightly less than 600, so theoretically the pipes should stay full. It's possible that there will be problems when I use the jetpack, when I turn on the jetpackinator, but we'll have to see that. We'll have to see if that is the case or not. I'm hoping that it will just be a temporary dip. Now we turn all the machines on. And power production has skyrocketed. Hard to tell whether it's perfectly consistent or not because of the geothermal stuff, which is in there somewhere. But it is running. And now these machines should all be turning on and producing at 600 a minute. They seem to be slowly starting up. But these last couple are down at like 5% and 2%. Why is this flow rate down at like 200? It should be nearly 600. Alright, it's getting up there. It is definitely spiking up to around 500, but now why is it dropping to 0 almost? I do not understand fluids. Why are they like this? Like, genuinely, why? It should be steady at 600 almost permanently. Okay. That is looking good. That is looking approximately like what it should be now. So maybe it's sorted out whatever problem there is. But why is it losing fuel? There should be 600 going in as well. Oh, I don't understand. Why is it like this? Did I do the math wrong? Or what? Okay, let's head to the machines at the back. Are they staying filled? And it would be literally the last two machines, which would be a problem. That one is at 50, that one's at 50. So far, the machines at least are all staying filled then. Which I guess is probably, I mean, that's certainly a good sign. I don't know what witchcraft is happening to make that be the case, considering these are definitely not running at full blast. In fact, they are effectively off. I don't understand. How are you flowing that fast without these machines emptying? Maybe maybe if I set this to be like load balanced or something. But I don't know. I'm just gonna assume that this is working. And yeah, I'm just gonna assume that it's working and set up the other lines, and then, I mean, even if it isn't running at full capacity, it's still producing more than enough power, probably. So let's make the next floor up for the next pipe. So let's get some walls. And start building this out. So we're going to need basically the same size as this one, but on top of it, obviously. So let's just build out a giant platform. And it seems like plates might be a limiting factor, so let's make sure to finish at least one row worth of machines. So this heads out there. and comes back here. And we are very nearly out of foundation supplies. We just barely managed to make that happen. Alright, so now we head down and we grab this pipe and we have to bring it out to there. And up this wall. And along the edge. It needs to come out at the side. It can't be too long. And finally up and around onto the foundation. And now we go to blueprints, fuel generator manifold. And we start placing these down. Which I think will line up something like there. Give some space for pipes to sit around and be pipes. 2, 4, 6, 8. Please line up. 10. And 12. And let's get another row going. 2, 4. Yep, and copper sheets. Alright, well let's get these hooked up. So the input goes there, and then the pipe runs along. And then out. And across and back in. So this is obviously not finished because we have to wait for copper sheets, so we'll just do the wiring. You know, I feel like the power system is in this game is like a little half-baked, and what I mean by that is it doesn't really have interesting decisions in it. Like with pipes and machine placement and all that, there's all sorts of stuff to think about. With wiring, like you just do it and it works. And there's no strategy or anything. The higher tier poles are purely for convenience. Which I don't know. I think is a little weird. I think it's a little weird. All right. Well, lined up that way and that way. So we continue placing fuel generator manifolds. Lines up there. And that lines up there. And we need more copper sheets. So that's that line, that's that line. Alright, let's do the power poles while we wait. Gosh, these are a little bit cramped in there. Which is fine, of course. Alright, so that will be this. And hopefully now that these machines are off as I'm building them, it will give some time for things to work themselves out in terms of the rocket fuel. Should fill preemptively, and I shouldn't have to turn it all off and wait and turn it all back on again, and that'll be nice. Also, putting the power shards in the blueprint makes it very convenient. The fact that these foundations don't quite all line up right is not very convenient. Alright, there needs to be a foundation there. And this needs to come out this way. And something like this. Should be maybe one more. Should be the max length. Why did it do that? Why are these like that instead of being in any other way? Dismantle, hold left control. All of these have to go because they're on a giant slope, and alright, it just didn't. That's understandable. Goodbye. Alright, now we're not accidentally building a slope. Okay, and that floating foundation can go, and then so this should be the max extent for this floor. Let's grab copper sheets and rubber and motors, you know, just to turn take from inventory for depot off, because that is marginally helpful in ensuring that depot continually fills while I'm building, as opposed to just sitting full. So this should be all of the foundation we need for the floor, because it should be more or less identical to the previous floor. In terms of size, at least. Alright. So then that goes down around there and hooks up here. So now we build another row. 2. 4. 6. Alright, there's a bit of a gap there, maybe. Where does the line up with this? 8. Stop fidgeting. 10. And 12. And then we hook up the pipes. Hooking up the pipes is very fun. Please give me tileable blueprints. Thank you. And then this comes around. And back in. Alright, and then that power gets hooked up to that power. And then these powers just get attached down the line. Please click, thank you. Alright. That is another row. We are getting there bit by bit. Alright, so then we do another row here. Make sure to give it enough space. That's 2. Four. Yep, and copper sheets and rubber, once again, being problems. Alright, well, let's hook up all that stuff. And power up. Power shards might end up being a problem soon-ish. Once power shards hit the point where they're a problem, it's going to be a lot slower than the rubber and pipes. Just because I'm only producing like 1 or 2 a minute. Although rubber might be in that same boat. 92, 93, 94... 96. Alright, well, at least we have all of that hooked up. Now let's pop down here to see if this one is still working. By this point, yeah. Pretty much the entire, more than the entire back row has failed. Please. Why are you like this? You're at 63%, you're at 40%. Yeah, this is just completely infuriating. Yep, and you're flowing at 400 some. Despite the fact that we have 600 input and like 598 output, it's deciding to just only flow at 500 for no good reason. I just can't handle this. Alright, what if... What if we just have a second pipe that goes like that just goes directly from the machines in the other side? So that should massively increase the pipe throughput. We're just going to run this along here. And around this way. So I'm just going to pretend that the problem is that... So I'm just... Like, I'm probably wrong on this, but basically I've concluded that Pipeline Mark IIs do not have 600 throughput. They have like 500-ish. So, now by attaching the other side in, now we effectively have 300 going both ways. Like, we have 300-ish going that way, 300-ish coming through this way. And that should resolve the problem, because now there is plenty of free pipe space for all of these to run. And yeah, that's instantly filled. Alright, so this is a bit annoying, because it means I'm going to have to run a lot more pipes for everything. But ultimately not a huge deal. Like, at the end of the day, it's fine. And now, yeah, now there is plenty of space. Everything is running at max capacity. We are good to go. Let's make sure that copper sheets and rubber are in the inventory. Alright, now it's still going to have to manifold a little bit, but it should work this time. So the only ones not running are like these couple, and they seem to be being reached pretty quickly. So yeah, I guess the solution is to just assume that the game is lying when it says Mark II pipes have 600 capacity. Like, they simply just don't. Alright. Now this definitely looks like it is working. I mean, that is reaching 100% very quickly. This one is Yeah, so it looks like the entire line should be running at 100% capacity now. So that's huge, and it's a pretty simple fix, all things considered. Again, I'm just going to have to run more pipes. It's frustrating that I have to do it, but I guess such is life. So now we head up to this. Is 3 lines done, and another one midway through. No, not refinery. Fuel generator. So that's lined up there. That's lined up there. Boop. That's lined up there. And there. Alright, and then that's lined up. And that is another row done. Wait, no, don't downgrade the power pole. Attach a power line to it. And now the pipes go through. So that's 12, 24, 36, 48. We're on the last row for this one as well. So let's get fuel generator manifold. And rubber shortages again, which is entirely expected. Frankly, I'm surprised we were able to finish that row. So the question is rubber being slow because it is like all being used? I think rubber is being slow because I haven't upgraded that dimensional storage to tier 2 belts, which I think I will do after this manifold is complete. But in the meantime, I think I am going to start turning these machines on. We did find a solution to the throughput problem, so making sure everything is completely full ahead of time is probably not as necessary as it was. And the power is so nice. It's so satisfying seeing that fun little diagonal line go up. Alright, we are getting there, and then we can take... And once this is done, we'll have rubber in the dimensional storage, and we should be able to finish this. Now this probably won't be able to be stable like this because I haven't hooked in the other side of the fuel yet. But still, it's a huge amount of power. Remember, each of these is overclocked, so this is effectively like more like hundreds of generators. Oh, these last ones didn't get hooked into the power grid. We gotta do that real quick. Alright, and then check rubber. Another couple hundred at least. Where is the lineup for this? There. And there. And we have already used all of that rubber. So let's see, is there anything else productive I can do? I guess I can preemptively bring the other half of this pipe up. Can't hook it into anything yet, but I can at least have it present. Which pipe was it? It was this one. Alright, so you can again come up onto the roof. And then up onto the next roof. And run along here. Which I'm pretty sure this is the direction it's supposed to connect to. That blue line is saying that it's straight. It's lying. Alright, and then this can come up there-ish. And actually, no, it needs to come over like this way. Like there-ish. So now we have that. Alright, so that lines up that way, that lines up that way. And place that in. And place that in. And we hook the pipes up to everything, and it looks like we didn't quite get that one right. Ah, well. And then we bring the power. Alright, so then we have 12, 24, 36, 48, 60-ish. And we have to underclock one of them. And when I say underclock, I mean just don't overclock it quite so much. How much was that? 360. And yeah, you can start turning on. Alright. And are these ones already on? Yes. Oh, so much power. It's beautiful. Now if we hop down to see, is this still functioning at full blast? The answer appears to be yes. Alright, we now have 2 full floors. It's 1,200 rocket fuel being burned a minute. Have a lot more to go, but the whole rubber situation is a problem. And are these compacted coal? 30. Alright. The compacted coal adds up to 60 a minute, which means that these belts are fine. I'll print out 136 coupons. Don't mind if I do. And if I check on these, the inputs, turbo fuel and nitric acid, are doing just fine. Doing just fine. Alright, it's not quite unlimited power, but it is a whole lot of power. We're up to 100 megawatts. And we still have another, like, 3... Yeah, we have 3 full levels and a smaller top level to go. So yeah, we are cooking with turbo fuel here. Where's the hypertube cannon? It's there. It's kind of small. Let's make this hypertube cannon a little bit bigger. Two, three. Alright, so now I still need entrances every other, which means working backwards from this way to make sure. And then we have the tubes. We have to be careful not to mess it up. They only go from the entrances to the supports, not the other way around. And then we power all of these guys on. And now we launch. We're heading straight north. Oh, hang on. Need to switch to the jetpack. So yeah, we need to get to the rubber setup so that we can have our rubber. We need to upgrade the belts. You just go so far. Alright. almost all the way, just barely short. Just barely short of the hub. It's just so fast. Like that's unbelievably fast. All right. We keep on moving. So this is the rubber and plastic side of things. And yep, here it is. So let's make you Mark II, and you Mark II while we're here. Actually, I should future-proof for once in my life and make them Mark III. It won't matter for a while, but actually, if I set up a MAM, I am a bit short of doing that. I am a fair bit short of doing that. I would need 3 more, and realistically I would need more like 10 more, just so that I have Mercer Spheres spare. Alright. Let's put another hard drive in the MAM while we're looking at it. And how much rubber are we actually making per minute? 20? That's not a huge amount. We will drain this thing dry if we keep going like this, but we're making progress. We're pretty close to done, honestly. Like, we're a third of the way there, which I guess isn't pretty close to done, but still. Alright, let's see if there's anything else we want to get started on in the last hour of the stream. I don't really feel like just running back into the fray and placing even more. It's going to be ages before we're properly finished with that. So let's hop on over here. Let's see what the hub wants from us. Neural quantum processors are something we don't have, as are superposition oscillators. Neural quantum processor. What does this look like? Alright, so it uses time crystals, which are relatively straightforward, supercomputers, which are far from straightforward, fixed trigons, which are pretty straightforward. They require SAM, but it's not a huge deal. And then excited photonic matter is just free. And then it produces dark matter residue, which I can transform into something else and then sync pretty easily. Superposition oscillators are a bit more complicated. And what am I getting for this? Just blueprints. This would give me the 2 remaining project parts. I think that'll be a job for its own, like, specific day. They seem too complicated to just wing. Alright, let's Let's also upgrade this paper tube. Nice. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Alright, any further back and we're going to start running into stuff. So now we start placing more entrances. Give me some space to stand next to this. Oh, hey, look, a bot. That's fun. Goodbye. Eh. Alright, that's weird. Normally, the chat messages disappear when I ban a bot. This time, they didn't. Alright. So you get all set up. Please don't do insane stuff. You get upgraded to a higher tier power pole. Saves me from having to look for something else to attach it to. Alright. And off we go. It's so fast. It is just so incredibly fast. Hey, look, a drone. That's fun. Yeah, and we're already back. It's been like 20 seconds. Yeah, now it, like, it's fast enough that traveling across the map is no longer a significant inconvenience. Like, I can just do that now. Like, that's incredible. Alright, let's set up one more. Let's do one more row. Is that tall enough? Yes. Alright, let's do the foundations. And actually grab rubber and copper sheets, make sure the inventory is filled as much as possible. Although probably motors will be the limiting factor now. It's hard to say. I think motors might also still be on Mark I belts into the storage. But, please. Alright. So that's all of the depth. Now we just need the width. And my poor concrete and plates are gonna be in significant pain for this. And I should probably focus on finishing row 1. And actually, I don't even have so now this is a bit of a predicament. I need to make this row and it needs to go pretty far out. So concrete is running on 2 Mercer spheres because it's just massive quantities of it needed. But even then, still difficult to keep up. Alright, well that'll be enough to get started with the row at least. Fuel generator manifold. Give it a little bit of space on the side. And start placing. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Now we have to put more foundations in. So we're at 8. And that's 10, and this will be 12. And just a little bit of extra. Right. Rubber is still being heavily used, of course. Although now I think copper sheets will be the bottleneck more often because I also have to use them to hook stuff up like after the blueprints are placed, whereas the rubber is only used while placing the blueprints. Alright, then we hook the power line up, and now we need to actually grab the fuel. So it'll be this 3rd batch here. And you go up onto the roof here and around this way. And then up onto the roof here, onto this wall. And in. Alright, that is that. So now that should be more than enough time to place in a bunch more foundation. Annoyingly just slightly more than a row of 10. Alright. My poor concrete supplies are struggling. But I believe in them, they can bounce back. It's a good thing I don't do the whole, like, artistic, like, thousands of concrete to make it look just right, and instead just sort of have platforms where I need them. Otherwise, I would use so much more concrete than this. 5. Alright, so that is enough space for that. The blueprint itself does actually require some concrete, but not in significant quantities. So don't really need to worry about that. Just like the time lining everything up is more than enough to keep the concrete stocked. Alright. It looks like the power shard supply is definitely decreasing as time goes on. Hopefully it'll... I am seeing some pop into the dimensional storage every now and then. So hopefully that will happen fast enough that I can finish this row. Or this floor, rather. Though it's not looking great for that. We're down to like 20-ish. Alright. Pipes. No, stop it. It just insists on attaching in the goofiest way possible. Alright. And that goes in. And power gets hooked up. Alright, that's that. Now we do another row. We're at 24 out of 60. Fuel generator manifold. What does it think it's overlapping with there? Well, we'll give it a little bit of space. A little bit of space. Never heard any quick wire is a problem. That makes sense. It requires 106 of it. It's almost certainly on the old system. Alright. Let's swap to jetpack. So yeah, the quick wire has larger stack size, so it took a lot longer to become a visible problem, but I am going to need to head over there and fix it. And just gently tap the jetpack every so often to maintain height. Alright, I'm surprised I didn't take fall damage there, but we did get back almost exactly to the hub, which is unfortunately not the quick wire location. The quick wire is in that giant overhang type thing. Which sadly I do not have a hypertube pointing that way. In fact, my hypertube launcher is pointing pretty much the exact opposite way from that. Which honestly might be good enough to get me there anyway. Alright. here we are. It's just inside of that. We'll have to upgrade the lifts from the left to upgrade the lift from the box to the depot. And yeah. Make that a tier 3. How much quick wire production do we have? 60 a minute? That's plenty. That's more than rubber, at least. And this is some other thing. AI limiters. I don't really... I guess while I'm here, I can hook these up to a sink, because I do like having them run constantly. That's right. Overflow. Sink. Belts. Power. Done. And then hop over, and actually, how much quick wire does that use? Is that going to be a problem? That uses 100 quick wire. So this is an entire separate quick wire constructor for that. And it's making 60. Is it getting enough ore? What is this splitting going on here? So that's making 15 ingots. That's using 12. So that's getting an additional 3. That's 5. That's 12. So that... I'm not going to do the math. Get rid of that merger. It's apparently a load-bearing merger. Alright. So let's put a smart splitter on there. And put a sink in. Hook the sink up. And power it on. Alright, now let's figure out what's going on with all this. So this is using 100 in quick wire and 25 copper sheets. Is it actually getting 25 copper sheets? It's getting 10, 20, 30. So I'll set that to 5, and it's now getting 25 copper sheets, which is exactly right. 100 quick wire. I can tell you for a fact it's not getting that. So I can overclock this to be 100, and that needs 20 Caterium ingots per minute, and this needs 12, so I need 32 Caterium ingots total. These two maxed out give me 30, so I can just make that 17. So then, is this splitter system working? So this is going to put 8 that way. Okay, let's take that splitter out. Make it a smart splitter. With write overflow, just so we know for sure. So that is producing 15. 12 of it is going there for quick wire specific production. 3 is going this way for whatever that is, along with that 17, which makes a total of 20 for this. So now we just need to figure out, are we getting 51, are we getting 96 Caterium ore? This is a minor mark 1, be a minor mark 2, and set to 96. Alright. Just a real quick fix. Maybe a bit of a slight disruption while that all gets worked out. But assuming that this is producing enough copper, that's like 60 copper ingots. That needs 50. So we'll set that to 20. And then it's using 50 copper ore, which is certainly not going to be a problem. And I think the copper's kind of far away. Yeah, it's all the way around this pillar. I am going to see if I can go for 100% efficiency on everything, which is why I'm doing this. Alright, you're set to 50%. Not 50, but 50 production per minute. And so now the Caterium and the quick-wired AI limiter factory should now be working at 100% efficiency, which is quite nice. It just required some minor adjustments to numbers here and there. Alright, now we can head back to finish off that floor we were building. I guess we'll take the old-fashioned hypertube. Just, it's incredible how slow this is by comparison. Like, just think, by this point, by the time we reach the end of this hypertube, we could be all the way on the other side of the map if we were using the main one. Yep. Gotta take a slow hypertube to get to the fast hypertube. Just hopping along. Alright. Now we can head hop in there, and off we go. It's so fast. Alright, just need to carry momentum a little bit. Alright, and here we are. Back to the hover pack. And we were midway through a line of fuel generators here. That lines up there, that lines up there. Where does this line up? Like that. And then we pull it out this way, and that lines up there. And that lines up like there and there. And that lines up there. So we hook the power up. And we hook it up to the previous thing. So then that goes around there and then back here. So this is the correct location, the correct side to bring the pipes over. No, not like that. Stop it. Get some help. Like that. Thank you. Alright, so that is that. 12, 24, 36. 2 more rows of fuel generators, and this floor will be done. Let's give it a little bit of space. Two, 4, 6. Yeah, and now we're out of power shards. Which means there's not much we can do at this point. We get power shards like 1 a minute. It's very slow. And this doesn't hook up on this side, so we can't even do that. Alright, so that means we have like half an hour to kill. Which I think means we should start investigating the prior steps in the line. So let's look at the power. It's really quite stable at the moment. Lots of blue lights. I see no red lights. So this entire row of generators, that entire floor is running as expected. So now we follow it down. Is the nitric acid and turbo fuel keeping up? Looks to be. And is that just because, well, with nitric acid, I believe it's literally all in one pipe. So yeah, the nitric acid pipe is the single pipe for the entire factory. So obviously it's drastically overproducing at the moment, with only like less than half the factory running. The turbo fuel is, I believe the turbo fuel, yeah. The turbo fuel is a bit overproducing for an individual, but it's also all networked in together through this pipe. So again, it would be kind of pretty much impossible to tell if anything prior to this is running at 100%. Just because, like, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be. It should be running at like 50-ish%. Which means, of course, that the fact that those machines are getting enough, but that doesn't really tell me anything, because they should be getting like twice as much as enough, and I don't know if that's true. It's been a while since I looked down here at all of these the heavy oil refineries. Just do a quick pass over to make sure the polymer resin isn't stacking up anywhere. It's not. The heavy oil certainly is, though. Heavy oil is stacking up like crazy. As is the rubber here. I do not remember what that rubber is for. It's for making plastic, which is used for making iron plates, which is nitric acid related stuff. Yep, I remember that now. Alright, well, while we're in the area, the turbo motor plant is right over here. Let's investigate that. I believe this is it. It all feeds into this thing, which is 100%. And very precisely, too, apparently. Doesn't have a full stockpile yet. Really not anywhere close. It's only 1 a minute, so that would take many, many hours to fill. But it is running at 100% with no problems. Cooling system also looks to be producing 100%. Yeah, there's a somewhat decent stockpile, but I think only like 1 a minute. I think a lot of them are going up there, so I think the stockpile will also take ages to fill, but it's running at 100%. Everything here checks out. I do see some yellow over here. What is all this about? Oh, is this the... This is the concrete. Right. Yeah, so the concrete is full, so as expected, I'm just going to upgrade that while I'm here. That, as expected, the concrete production is backlogged. Let's... it is kind of cursed. Like the nitrogen pipes just run straight through this area. I would like to get a sink in. Just to get everything ever so close. As close as it can be to 100%. That's a 10 that's filled max. Alright. And then we say left is overflow. 15, 30. So that is 60 concrete a minute. Yep. And it is now being successfully overflowed. How much limestone are we using? 45, 90, so 180. So I'll set that to 180 so that it can be, so that is also 100% production. And let's just zoom past these. Drones all seem to be working. Alright. we can manually craft some power shards using random power slugs that we find. I don't really want to do that, but I suppose it doesn't really hurt any. Oh. Alright. We dropped out of hover pack connection range for a bit. We found our way back in. Power shards up to 18. That's another 3 blueprints, if I remember correctly. Which will be enough to finish this row, I think. So that's nice. Blueprints, fuel generator manifold. That's that. That's that. And please line up properly. That's that. Alright, now we just have to attach these pipes in, which somehow that worked properly. It looked like it was going to go do this stupid thing again, but it didn't. Alright, and then we hook the wires up. And I don't think that last connection was strictly necessary, but it doesn't matter at all. And now we just bring that around. Oh, we forgot to hook these pipes up as well. Although we did do the wires for it. Alright. Those pipes are going in. And that's another bit. So we are now up to 48 on this row. So the next row will be the last one for this level. And then how many levels do we even have? Let's see here. So those are the blenders down there. Uh-oh. Make sure not to fall into the void. So those are the blenders. That's 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floors, so we are just shy of halfway done. We just need this last row, but power shards are a pretty harsh limiting factor. And it's not at all trivial to upgrade production of them. So let's just... Actually, I think I did this a couple times, and this could stand to be just like very, very marginally just slightly longer. 2, 3. I'll add like 2 more entrances, I think, in which, I don't know, something like that. No, you have to actually be placed. Alright, and then 6 is the entrance hotkey. Those go there. And then get the actual hypertube itself. That goes there, that goes there, that goes... Why are you like this? That goes up a bit. And we get more power. And hope I haven't messed that up. And in we go. So this should give us just a little bit more of a boost. Which hopefully should be enough to carry us from just slightly shy... Oh. Have to equip the jetpack, that's important. So previously we were just ever so slightly shy of the space elevator. Now we should be able to make it there much more comfortably. Although fuel... Yeah, so now we're comfortably able to make it to the hub. With some fuel left for maneuvering. Alright, what was I doing here? Right, I was gonna head over to investigate power shards. I also need to grab another stack of rocket fuel, which is going to, I think, temporarily mess with my power generation. And this thing was like pretty much due east, I think. Yeah, it's right here. Is that red thing a summer sloop? Yes, it is. I'm going to grab that. Alright. Kill those two guys easily. Grab the summer sloop, which was apparently here this entire time. And now we head over here to investigate, is there anything we can do to accelerate power shard production? Yep. Seems to be off getting more oil. Now, if I remembered correctly, this was one of those situations where there's like a byproduct. So yes, looping would increase the amount of dark matter residue produced as well, which I don't really have a way of dealing with. And yeah, we're getting 2 power shards a minute, which is honestly twice as fast as I was expecting. So, good for that. $50 dark matter crystals. Are these backing up by any chance? 2.133 a minute being produced. 4 a minute being used there. Huh? Oh, these come from multiple devices. So that's 2.133. This one is 1.867, which I think adds up to 4. There's a power slug right here, which doesn't really do me all that much good, but I have it now. No summer super immerser spheres in the vicinity, unfortunately. So yeah, there isn't really much we can do to speed this up. Although I do see some yellow lights over here because the crystal oscillators... Alright, let's get the crystal oscillators hooked up to a sink so that they will run permanently. Smart splitter. Belt. And there's a power pole. Left overflow. Alright, so now these should turn on 100% of the time. That's quite fun. I guess I should technically, while I'm here, set the power shards up to a sink as well, which... I mean, once I'm done with this project, I don't know when the next time I will be using mass quantities of power shards, so this might actually be necessary. Smart splitter right, overflow. Alright, so that won't do anything for a very long time, but at some point in the distant future, that will ensure that this continues running. And I'd like to just continue hopping around looking for yellow. Here's some yellow. Why are you guys yellow? You're producing for this row of machines. 18, that's 36 quartz crystals. That's 13.5 and 22.5. So this is probably just yellow because it hasn't quite caught up to the fact that that production line is running again. Probably everything around here is going to be like that, if I had to guess. Like these wires seem like... Yeah, see, they're underclocked to weird numbers, which makes me pretty sure that I came around here and did all of this math well the first time through, and it's just now turning on because I added the sink in. Let's head over here and add sinks onto these. I guess we can probably just do one sink for both. That'll be fine. No, wait, no, not a regular splitter. Not a regular splitter. A smart splitter. Alright, and then I need to get a splitter onto this monstrosity of a belt, which worked surprisingly well. Expected that to be a much more difficult fight. So then that comes around there. We add the sink in. That's 37.5 silica, 22.5 crystals, so probably... So Mark 1 belts are fine. This is a regular splitter. Alright. Regular splitter, get out of there. Be a smart splitter instead. with right overflow. And while I'm here, I will also upgrade those to tier 3, which is the highest it should ever need to be, I think. And I think we have some of these to do as well for that. Got that. And I cannot remember whether or not I did that for this. I didn't. Again, unlikely to ever matter anytime in the nearby future, but make sure to do it anyway. So yeah, I took a stack of rocket fuel, which means it's going to cause my production to be all wobbly for a bit. Let's hop around and continue trying to find anything running at below 100%. This is 96%. Needs 30.6 plates and is currently getting 30 plates. Is that right? Do I need 5.1 reinforced plates specifically? Alright, that needs 2.5. That needs 2.5. Alright, so I simply just set this to the wrong number then. You were set to 5. And the plates are now 30, which should be enough. Alright. I didn't power this sink on. So you get powered on. Start working. While we're here, how much quartz does this need? 22.5 there, 37.5 there, so that's 60, and that's 60. Beautiful. Alright. What other factories are not attached to sinks? Just gonna have to run around and check. I know it's quite a few because my max power and my current power are not close. Which means like half of my machines aren't running-ish. And there's probably some pretty large factories too that are having that problem. I see a bunch of yellow here. Yeah, so that half of the rod production is hooked up to a sink. This half isn't. Alright. Let's think. If I take that splitter apart, put a smart splitter there. And I say center any, left any. I can get an overflow here. Alright, where's an available power pole? Upgrade you into one. Turn you on. Right overflow. And there we go. That is that. Another couple machines turned on permanently. So this is the rebar. There is room there. So let's put a sink in. And right overflow. Power it on. That's another one machine permanently turned on. Now these plates, if I recall correctly, were doing something somewhat wacky. So they seem to be all producing at 100%. Which doesn't actually... Right, so they're being sunk over there. Which is fine, I guess. Not going to complain about that. Ultimately, it works. I see a yellow machine here. Yeah, these machines are not. Alright, so let's get a sink in here. And I think it preferably... Alright. I would like for this to merge. Alright, so that's right. Overflow. And let's find power. There we go. And we got another spark splitter in there, which is left overflow. And how much wire is this? 60? Yeah, it's 60 wires, so that is sufficient, although... I need a pretty quick belt there. Alright, and then... we head over to the cables, which... currently hooked up to a drone for no good reason. And let's instead hook them up to a sink. So that's cables permanently on. And yeah, these don't need to be slooped and overclocked like that. Give me all of these. So that should make the math work out better for that. Right. How much has that actually helped? And the answer is it's hardly moved the needle. It's made my main base marginally nicer though, so that's the important part. Let's hop down here, look at the hard drive scans. Still have a couple left to do. Don't think there's anything super important in there though. Alright, these machines are all irrelevant now. This was the ancient biofuel setup, which was incredibly cursed for many reasons. Alright, let's see, there are 4 minutes left. Yeah, I think we will probably call it there for today. So how's the power shards looking? We're back up to 50. So yeah, I'm probably just going to leave it running for a bit at some point over the weekend, so that when we come back we'll have enough power shards to be able to do the rest of the fuel generator, which, you know, I'm pretty sure I set the stream title on YouTube to finishing the power plant. Obviously we didn't do that, but we are like halfway done-ish, and more importantly than being halfway done with the actual placing of the generators, we are now in a position where, like, we don't have to do much waiting aside from the power shards. Like, once we have a power shard back up, we should be able to just crank them out, place with no real pauses, and then that will be that. So we are pretty much, like, I would say maybe an hour or two away from the power plant being fully built. So we should definitely finish it on Monday. So yeah, I will see you guys on Monday. Make sure to